Today, the Packers finished their 13th day of training camp practice, and it's crazy that it's already gone by so quickly. We're about 2 days away from the first preseason game, which should be exciting to finally see some live NFL football. It's not the regular season, but it's better than, a training camp practice. We get some more ideas into what's really going on. Some of these players lower on the depth chart, seeing some of those positional battles. It'll be fun to see what happens on Saturday at the preseason game. We're getting closer and closer to the regular season. So to start off this video, I'm going to start with the end of practice because that's when Jordan Love seemingly got injured, but he seems to be okay. Matt Schneidman said this: Jordan Love appears to be walking gingerly after getting knocked to the ground during 11-on-11. Head trainer Brian Engel playing with his left knee. Love was grabbing the back of his left leg. Appears to be very minor. I repeat, appears to be very minor. And when I first saw that tweet, when you're reading through that in the first part, it sounded like things were headed south real quickly. I was thinking that something bad had happened and Jordan Love was seriously injured. And luckily, though, it ends with, it seems to be very minor. And then Matt Schneidman said, as I said, appeared very minor to Love's left leg. Here he is jogging after practice, and he included a short video of Jordan Love jogging. And then Rob Demovsky of ESPN also added, Jordan Love is stretching out his left leg after the last team period. Packers VP of Player Health and Performance, Brian Engel, looked at Love, who appears to be okay. Love jogged to the huddle at the end of practice. So it looks like Jordan Love is okay. Nothing serious happened, and I don't exactly know what happened to his leg. There hasn't been any more information released at this point. Hopefully, there's nothing lingering there, because sometimes, even with minor injuries, it can, sort of stay with a player and become more of a nagging type injury. Don't know if that's the case with this. Maybe he's fully fine and 100% going forward, but we'll keep an eye on this to see if anything comes of this. But luckily, Jordan Love seems to have avoided any kind of serious injury, which is very, very good news. But I wanted to start the video with that bit of news because it's probably the biggest thing out of practice today. And at practice today, they were not in full pads. It was just, I think, helmet and then jersey and pants, just to note. And then from Andy Herman, new players out today: Tyrone Hopper and Elton Jenkins, who had a rest day. That's Elton Jenkins, not Hopper. And then return from injury, Jaden Reed. Good to see. Then still out, Dimitri Stanley, Carrington Valentine, Deslin Alexandre, Keyshawn Banks, Edgerrin Cooper, Donovan Jennings, and Jordan Morgan. So two of the first three Packers draft picks dealing with injuries. Edgerrin Cooper has not been able to push himself into the starting offense, and now with him injured, it's going to be even harder, I think, to take that role or be in the mix there for the season to start. Maybe he comes back soon. Who knows? Jordan Morgan out about a week, most likely a week or so, according to Matt LaFleur yesterday. Then from Andy Herman, at Andy Herman NFL on Twitter. You guys should go follow him if you don't. He gives probably the most detailed reports here on Twitter out of camp. He said, probably my favorite moments of any practice so far, Hafley coaching up the corners on press technique. What an absolute master of a teacher. His ability to be engaging, the technical coaching, and just the energy was amazing. At the end, he thanks the DBs for letting him be a DB coach again. To which Jaw fires back, now get out of here, Haf. 5 minutes of coaching awesomeness. So everything we've seen and heard coming out of Packers training camp from the players, all that kind of stuff, it seems to be very, very positive about Jeff Hafley. Seems to be a very, very good teacher. That was one of the things about Hafley that was brought up a lot when he was brought in, is his ability to explain his scheme and how to go about doing it the proper way in a very simple way. Last year, the Packers had some communication issues with Joe Barry there near the end of the season, and it sounds like in this defense, the way that Hafley explains things, these guys don't have to think as much when they're playing, can play more free, and it sounds that this theme continues to be discussed, so that's a good sign so far, but we'll see once the season starts if everything goes according to plan with this defense. Then Andy Herman, Jalen Wayne gets a rep with the ones, goes deep, and Love hits him for a wide-open touchdown. I should add that they are rotating absolutely everyone around. There were no defenders, and it was at a snail's pace, but other than that, huge play. So, huge play by Jalen Wayne, who is a receiver out of South Alabama, I believe it was, and he is a first-year player out of South Alabama. Entered the league with the Bills as an undrafted free agent back in May of 2023. And then, so I guess he's a second-year player that would make him if he came in May of 2023. But then Andy Herman says starters and team: Love, Jacobs, Wicks, and Dubose, Musgrave, Sims, Walker, Newman, Myers, Ryan, Tom. So interesting there. No Watson, Reed, or Dobbs. Maybe they're just giving some of these other guys a chance. Then offensive line: Walker, Newman, because Elton Jenkins is out, Ryan because Jordan Morgan is out at right guard, and then Myers at center, Tom at right tackle. And then defense: Gary, Wyatt, Clark, and Igbare, Wilson, Quay, McDuffie, Nixon, and Stokes at corner, and then McKinney and Bullard at safety. And so that's interesting. No Jair there. I guess some guys were probably sitting out. It didn't seem to be as intensive a practice as in times past. And then Wyatt getting a start over TJ Slayton. And then Preston Smith also not starting there, and Igbare coming in. Then Andy Herman says start of team: defense stuffs Jacob, Loves fires incomplete downfield to Musgrave, who was well covered, ball overthrown as well. Jacobs was stuffed on the next play as well. Love had Dobbs on a deep crosser, but Love just missed him wide. Good start for the defense. So the defense seems to be playing pretty consistently, especially this defensive line, and this defense has forced a ton of interceptions. I read from Rob Domofsky it's around 20 interceptions in camp, but it has been, 13 days? So that's about 1 point something interceptions per day. Then Bill Huber says Carlson and Joseph go 3 for 3 in round 1, and it seemed like the third kicker brought in, Alex Hale, didn't kick today, so they're going back and forth there. But Joseph and Carlson perfect in the first 3. Then Matt Schneiden, low red zone drill, and Love hits Melton for a touchdown, back middle with a dart. Melton playfully dances in Jeff Hafley's face, and Hafley smacks him in the helmet with his play sheet. Next play, Love scrambled and gets picked off by Stokes in the end zone, lobbing one up for Watson. So we got 1 touchdown from Love, 1 interception, and it seems like Love overall has been pretty solid, but he has thrown a good amount of interceptions, but I don't really care about training camp interceptions, if I'm being completely honest. We've seen guys throw a ton of them in the past, and it's been no worry once the regular season starts. So Love hasn't thrown a crazy amount, but he's thrown a somewhat good amount. Wes Hodkwitz, good bounce back by both kickers, who were 12 for 12 today. During second set, Carlson good from 49, 50, and 51. Joseph good from 44, 50, and 51. Andy Herman says that false start on the first play of team earlier by Sean Ryan was costly. Jacob Monk has been in his spot in team ever since. So it seems like because of that false start, they bring Ryan out, bring rookie Jacob Monk into his spot. Then Andy Herman, Love drops one in a bucket for Lloyd, but it's well contested by McDuffie. Both players tip the ball up a couple times, and Lloyd comes up with a catch, but out of bounds by the time he came up with it. Andy Herman, pressure by Enagbare, maybe a sack. Love throws anyway and completes to Wicks over the middle. Love follows it up with a bullet to Musgrave over the middle, who makes a fantastic hands catch in stride. Anthony Johnson Jr. with good coverage, but just tip your cap on that one. So a pretty throw from Jordan Love, which we've gotten pretty used to at this point. Wes Hodkwitz, no pads, but another disruptive practice for Kingsley and Igbare. Love just threw a dart to Musgrave on a slant, an even better catch. When we look at the Packers' defensive ends, of course, Preston Smith, Rashawn Gary are the starters, but so far in camp, it seems like Lucas Van Ness and Enagbare have both made a lot of plays, and so that's great considering they play a good amount of snaps, at least they did last year, that the Packers have some solid depth on the defensive end. And then from Wes Hodkwitz, couple nice runs by Ellis Merriweather. Lecitus Smith on the ground for the second time today on a run play. Pratt finds Joel Wilson, but he can't hang on. That's been an issue for Wilson, who's finding ways to get open consistently. And then Andy Herman says, practice over, short one today, preseason game 1 up next. So that is pretty much all of the updates from today. And as he said, preseason game is on Saturday, and so I'll be out with a recap video after that game, so stay tuned. Make sure you have your post notifications turned on, and hopefully Jordan Love and that injury he suffered, or that injury scare he suffered today, nothing happens there, and hopefully he's fine going forward. We'll keep an eye on that one as well. But if you want more Packers content, feel free to subscribe. You can also subscribe to my second channel, Sideline Scoop NFL, link down below if you want other NFL content.